Hello, welcome to biology class. In the previous class, we were discussing about some of the high yielding varieties of wheat plant. Okay, we have discussed all about the wheat and its high yielding varieties. Okay, which are developed in the Mexican countries, and when they are brought into India, they are crossed with Indian varieties of wheat, and they have developed two high yielding varieties like Sonalika and Kalyan Sona. Okay. In today's class, we shall see all other crop plants with their varieties. Second one, rice. We all know that rice is also one of the major crop plant in India, and rice is used for preparation of many kinds of food items, many kinds of foodstuffs like take idli, dosa, etc. Many more stuffs will be prepared from rice. For that, there is a drastic decrease in production of rice before the 1960s. Okay, so for about 1960, the production was about only 35 million ton. But about 2000 means in this year, at this year, the production was increased to 89 million tons, a drastic increase in the rice production. It has become possible only due to the development of semi-dwarf varieties. Semi-dwarf varieties, and those varieties which are developed at IRRI, that is International Institute of Rice or International Rice Research Institute. Rice Research Institute, which is located in Philippines. Okay, there they have used two varieties, that is IR8 and one more Taichung Native 1. Taichung Native 1. By using these two varieties, in India, they have developed two novel varieties which are known as Jaya and Ratna. Okay, these are varieties developed in Philippines. Okay, and when they are brought to India, when they are imported to India, where they have developed Indian varieties by crossing the rice of India and these varieties, and they are brought up with two novel varieties as Jaya and Ratna. Okay, so they are semi-dwarf, they are resistant to lodging, more protein content. Okay, along with that, they are able to tolerate more environmental variations, etc. Means they are having a capacity to give better yield. So only within a span of about 40 years, the production is increased from 35 million tons to 89 million tons. Okay, that's how rice is been a major food crop in India. Okay, coming to the next one, sugar cane. There are two varieties. One is Saccharum barberry, other one is Saccharum officinarum Saccharum barberry, Saccharum officinare. Among the two, Saccharum barberry was most commonly grown in North India. Saccharum officinarum was commonly grown in South India. Don't confuse among the both. Saccharum barberry of sugarcane variety was grown in North India. Saccharum officinarum was grown in South India. Here, among this, Saccharum barberry was having less yield. Saccharum officinarum was having more yield. Also here, this was having thin and short. Means the stem height was less and the sugarcane stem was thin. Okay, but coming here, the stem was thick, stem was more height, so only it was giving more height, thick and long. So less yield means less sugar content. Okay, here sugar content was less. Here the sugar content was more sugar in this variety, in this species. Okay, so there is a scientist called Barber who crossed between these two varieties of the sugar cane and developed a new variety which could be grown even in North India. By crossing the Saccharum barberry and Saccharum officinarum, one new variety has been developed that could be grown easily even in North India where they were getting less yield. After development of the new variety, they are now getting better variety, better yield of sugar. Okay, and it is developed at a place called Sugarcane Breeding Center, which is located in Coimbatore. Fortunately, I was the lucky one to visit Sugarcane Breeding Center in the year of 2017. Maybe in the month of December, I was there in Sugarcane Breeding Center, Coimbatore. When I was a student in post graduation, I had an opportunity to visit the Sugarcane Breeding Center located in the Coimbatore. Yes, there was a lot of field which used to grow various varieties of the sugarcane, crossing the two different varieties, selecting the better ones and discarding the lesser yielding varieties of the sugarcane. So all was visible clearly when I visited the Sugarcane Breeding Center. Okay, so here towards Jemkhandi, what we are having is a Saccharum officinarum, which is having a better yield than Saccharum barberry. Remember the two species of Saccharum. One is Saccharum barberry and Saccharum officinarum. Okay, and coming to the millets, here all these are the millets like maize, jowar, bajra. They are also one of the most commonly used food crops in India. Okay, here maize is been used in many of the foodstuffs. Jowar is also used to make roti, etc. Bajra is also used to make roti, some biscuits or many more food items. Okay, remember students, these varieties are not mentioned in our textbook, so you don't need to worry about these varieties. I just have mentioned for your information. Okay, so you don't need to worry about this for your theory examination. Okay, maybe for CET or NEET you may have to remember, but for theory examination this is not necessary. All these are the hybrid varieties. All these are the hybrid varieties. Hope you remember the 5 steps what we discussed in yesterday's class. By using those 5 steps, these varieties are developed in India. Okay. So, along with that, many more millets, many more pulses are used in our day-to-day life. Okay. But they are not being mentioned in our syllabus. So, you no need to worry about those varieties of the crop plants, right? You just remember which crop, which variety, which crop, which variety. That's enough. We shall now study the plant breeding for disease resistance, because the purpose of plant breeding are many. Main purpose is to increase the yield. Main purpose is to increase the yield. But along with the yield, the plant must be able to resist the disease or the pathogen. So, plant breeding for disease resistance. So, firstly, what is resistance? Resistance is ability of the host plant to prevent the pathogen from causing the disease. Better we shall write, it is ability of host plant to prevent pathogen from causing a disease. Generally, you all know, whenever there is an enemy, you will be having some ability to fight with the enemy. Okay, you will fight with the enemy, you will scold the enemy, or you will threaten the enemy. Similarly, here the pathogen will be having some strategy to cause the disease. Meanwhile, the host will be having some of the ability to fight with the pathogen. That is what we call resistance of the host plant. When we use the word pathogen, pathogen is nothing but disease causing agent. Disease causing agent. Okay, so we have many more pathogens like fungi. Here, fungi cause diseases like rust, leaf rust of wheat, leaf rust of wheat, then rot, red rot of sugarcane, similarly late blight of potato, so these are some of the diseases caused by fungal pathogen. We also have bacterial pathogen. Bacteria as a pathogen. So, we have a black rot of cruciferous, cruciferous means the members of the family Brassicaceae. Also, we have a citrus canker. Similarly, there are many more bacterial diseases on croplands. Also we have pathogen like virus. Pathogen like a virus. Here the viral diseases like tobacco mosaic virus, tobacco mosaic disease, turnip mosaic, cauliflower mosaic, like that there are many more diseases caused by bacterial pathogens, fungal pathogens and viral pathogens, right. So the aim of plant breeding is to develop the crops resistant to these diseases. Not only these, many more diseases, right. So we will now see what are the methods to develop croplands resistant against the diseases. Okay, methods to develop crops resistant to the diseases, right. We shall now see the methods, how the croplands are made resistant against the diseases, right. Before developing the plant resistance, we need to know three major things. Remember three things. First one, for any disease there must be a disease causing organism or a pathogen. You must know what is the pathogen of that disease, and also you should know the mode of transfer. Mode of transfer of that particular disease, whether the disease is transferred through water, whether the disease is transferred through air, whether the disease is transferred through any vector, so like water, air or any insect vector. So you should know how disease will be transmitted, and also you must be knowing about effect on host. Then it will be easier for you to develop a plant which is resistant against the disease. Okay, so here in methods of developing plants against diseases. First method 1, that is conventional breeding. Conventional breeding technique. In that there are 4 steps. We shall see those steps first. First one, screening of germplasm. Screening of germplasm for resistance sources. Right. Then second step, hybridization of selected parents. Then selection and evaluation of hybrids, and the last step is testing and release of new varieties. First, see, screening of germplasm for resistance sources means germplasm, whatever the plants we have collected, in that plant we should see whether that collected plant is resistant to the disease or not. First they will check that plant using bacterial pathogen, see the result. They will check the plant using viral pathogen, see the result. They will check the plant with the fungal pathogen, see the result. So if the plant is found to be able to resist bacterial pathogen, yes, then they can go for developing the crop resistant against one of the bacterial pathogens or bacterial diseases. Okay, like that they will checking for all the pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungus, any other pathogen also. Okay, germplasm means the collected plant source, right? Among how much they have collected, they may select some 3, 4, 5. That 3, 4, 5 will be undergone to hybridization. Again remember the steps: emasculation, bagging, cross pollination, rebagging, like that. So by using that steps they will hybridize the selected parents. After that again selection and evaluation. Say you have got 10 hybrids. Among 10, how many are better, how many are weak, how many are strong, how many are weak. So they will select the stronger ones, they will detach or discard the weaker ones. If it is found to be stronger, then they will select the strong hybrid. That's what is selection and evaluation of hybrids. Among that, if some 6 are found to be strong, to be resistant, then they can release them as a new variety. They can release those as a new variety against some diseases. Against some diseases. So you can see the chart here. You also have this in your book. Just see here. They have given different crop plants and varieties of that particular crop and the disease to which this variety is resistant. For example, the variety Himagiri of wheat is resistant to the leaf and stipe rust. Means the pathogen of this disease cannot affect this variety of wheat. Similarly, we have a cowpea. The variety is Pusa Komal. Here, this variety is resistant to the bacterial blight. It is resistant to bacterial blight. Like that, all these varieties of these crops are resistant to these particular diseases. In examination, remember, you will have one more question. One more question. Say, name any variety of the brassica which is resistant to white rust. Then your answer will be Pusa Swarnim. Or else they will ask, to which disease Pusa Komal variety of cowpea is resistant? To which disease? Answer will be bacterial blight. Okay, crop, variety of that crop and resistant to particular disease. Okay, so note down those diseases, varieties and the crops. Okay, these are the varieties developed by conventional or normal breeding techniques. And nowadays, due to the advancement of the technology, there are many other techniques also. One of them is mutational breeding. One of the technique is mutational breeding. Second technique, mutational breeding. Mutational breeding, you all know that. What is mutation? Just change in the genetic material. Mutation refers to change in genetic material. Change in genetic material. But for that changing, we need some of the agents. Those agents are called mutagens. The agent may be physical or chemical. Physical agent like radiation. Chemical agent like many more chemicals, many acids. Okay, colchicum. Chemical. So by using radiation like X-ray, gamma rays, many more ultraviolet rays, the mutations can be induced in plant, or by using chemical like colchicum. Okay, sorry, colchicine. Colchicum is the plant name. Colchicine is the chemical. It is taken from the plant Colchicum autumnale. You will see in some other chapters. Okay, so by using mutation or by changing the genetic material, they are successful in developing new varieties of the plant. Let's see how is it done. In this, firstly they have used inducing mutations. Artificially. Inducing mutations artificially by using physical agents like radiation or chemical agents like colchicine. Then they will select. Selection of mutant plants means you have tried this technique for about 25 plants. Among 25 plants, only about 12 plants have got mutated. Okay, 12 plants got mutated. They are now called mutants. Those 12 plants are called mutants. They are selected for the next step. Okay, and lastly, breeding for disease resistance. Means they are crossed each other by the same techniques like emasculation, bagging, rebagging, pollination, etc. what we discussed in the previous class. Okay, this is how the mutation is applied in the field of plant breeding. Okay, by this technique there is a variety of one crop. The crop is bindi, lady's finger. Lady's finger. The variety is Prabhani Kranti. The variety of the plant is Prabhani Kranti. This variety of lady's finger is resistant to yellow mosaic virus. Yellow mosaic virus. Okay, so remember the lady's finger plant. The scientific name is Abelmascus esculentus. So this variety of lady's finger developed by mutational breeding is resistant to the virus, that is yellow mosaic disease, or simply disease is yellow mosaic disease. Okay, that's how mutation is been implied. Okay, so along with these techniques there are a few more techniques like soma clones or genetic engineering, etc. We shall just mention them for your information. Along with these two methods, there are two more techniques. Let me just mention. Third technique is by using soma clonal variation and fourth technique is by using genetic engineering. Okay, we will discuss this completely in the next chapter, biotechnology. We'll discuss this in a next chapter, biotechnology, right? So I think this is enough for today's class. We shall see the next step, next purpose of plant breeding in the next class. Till that, keep learning. Take care. Bye bye.